So basically, tonight is usually just a young adults small group, but all those who don't identify as young adults, you have the very privileged opportunity to be amongst us tonight. Yeah, Judith actually asked me just a minute ago, she said, does this mean I'm part of the youth now? And I said, Judith, I don't want to make you feel old, but I haven't been in youth for over 10 years, so we're a long way from that. But anyway, so Operation Sickle is what we've called this. Basically, the heart of this is how we can work together as a team to basically make this, well, not just this event with Jesse Duplantis, but to be as effective as we can going forward and to put together strategies that we've been really praying about for quite a while that God can help us to use to be as effective as possible in reaching people, to not just reach people to have an event, but be able to bring them into the life of following Jesus. Should we skip through the first couple of slides? So this is just a bit of, hopefully sort of recapping for most people here. But at Breakthrough, our mission statement of what we do, it says that we rescue and bring people to wholeness. We train and equip together as ambassadors who significantly influence the world both locally and globally until Jesus comes again. So that's our overarching statement. That's our mission. That's everything we're doing tonight and we're talking about is working towards achieving that. And now again, hopefully this is recapping, but in order to do that, we put together what we call the disciple cycle. So this is pretty much a cycle that just represents what we do. So this cycle here is why Breakthrough exists. Everything we do at Breakthrough should be fulfilling at least some part of this cycle. So at the top, we rescue. So someone comes from the world, they don't know Jesus, and they are rescued. They come into a relationship with Jesus. They're healed, they're made whole, spirit, soul, and body. They're trained, so they're taught how to actually live out Jesus' commands and how to do that. They're equipped, which means they're empowered, they're resourced to go and to be ambassadors. They go and influence the world, make ambassadors, and rescue people who come in and are healed and trained. And we're always going through that cycle. So we're always being trained. We're always being equipped. We're always being healed. We're always influencing and bringing more people in to that cycle with us. Does that all make sense, I think? If you're not on board with that, then you should probably leave because tonight's not for you. And so what we've got with Jesse Duplantis coming in a couple of weeks and other events that we've had previously at Breakthrough and other events we will have more of to come is events where evangelists come. So evangelists have an amazing anointing and an ability to bring people to a point of saying, you need to make a decision right now. You know, like Dad says, someone can come and give an amazing gospel presentation and lay out all the points and all the reasons someone should follow Jesus, and they'll go away and think about it. An evangelist comes and tells 3 stories about their sick aunt and their dog with 3 legs, and then people say, I need to follow Jesus, and they make a decision to do it because they have an anointing for that. God's given them a gift and an anointing for that. And so when evangelists come, which is what Jesse Duplantis is, they give us a great opportunity. They will bring a heap of people, a chunk of people in at this point here. But what they don't do, these events, is they don't actually put people into the cycle. So what they do is they give us... Oh, yep, I'll take the better chair. That's a good idea. They give us an opportunity. They'll bring a heap of people who will come and say, oh, yes, I've been impacted. I've felt all this emotion. I need to do something. I need to follow Jesus. I need something in my life. But then our job is to take these people here and actually bring them into the cycle. Does that make sense? And so that's basically what we want to discuss tonight, is some strategies and ideas that God has given us that we're going to try and implement as a team to try and make that happen. Did you have anything to add to that, Dad?
No, that's all perfect.
Yep, correct. Well, this is going well, isn't it? And so well, before we go into the actual system, I just wanted to highlight a couple of things that this has sort of come from, and a couple of key things that we've learned in the past. Because, like Dad has mentioned, he prayed a few years ago, put it on his vision board for us to be able to partner with evangelists. And after that, God connected us supernaturally with Machine Gun Preacher, Jellyfish Man, who I know has a real name as well, but and now Jesse Duplantis. None of them we sought out; all of them came to us, and I know there will be more. But in our previous experiences, the 2 key things that we've sort of come away with is one, and like we just shared, that an emotional moment of people responding to an altar call does not automatically get them in the cycle. It gets them an opportunity, but then we need to all work together to help bring them into the cycle. Obviously, they have a part to play as well because they have to make the decisions daily going forwards. And a second key thing that we learned really, which is it's a really good lesson, is that when there is an altar call and all these people will respond and decide they want to follow Jesus, all those people are at very different stages of their journey. And I remember when we had Machine Gun Preacher come, and I put in a huge amount of time building a web page and all these resources for people that it would say, it's basically like you haven't been following Jesus, you've decided to follow Jesus, so here's the first steps for you to take on your journey. But what we found is, I think we had like 26 people respond to the altar call, but they were from all different phases. Some people had been Christians for 40 years and came and they was like, I was just moved and I just responded. And so to them, it's like, well, that's useless to me. Like, I already know that. Some people are like, well, I've still got questions. I'm still not sure what I believe. I still don't know what I think. So that's not for me yet. So we had this like spectrum of people, but we were sort of ready for this narrow spectrum but there was a wide spectrum. So that's something that, again, God's helped us to try and develop. Is what our job is in this is we want to create an ecosystem that that's right. Are you getting put out too? Don't you go scratching at the door, please, Mum. No, you'd be surprised how often that happens. So what our job and our heart is to create an ecosystem that can empower us as a team to be able to help bring people into this cycle, basically. So we would love to share that with you tonight. If you guys are on board, it's going to be not just me talking. Dad might say a word or two here and there, but there'll be some interaction and stuff like that. So should we walk through the cycle, or do you want to?
Can I just add one thing there? One of the other things that we noticed that was not only the diversity of people coming, but was that it actually takes some very focused and intentional work to bring the people in on that outside after the meeting. And so we've had plans, we've had programs, we've had strategies, but I'm aware that as good as a strategy is, it actually doesn't work for all sorts of reasons, and there's all sorts of things we have to keep overcoming. So we understand, so we just keep changing and pushing forward. But what it means is that we have to get from the mindset, because often with a very big meeting, there's a lot of effort goes into the meeting and to the night, and then pretty much on the Tuesday, everybody's
half dead.
That was such a big meeting, and that was such a big event, and we had an amazing result, and we had 26 people come out to there, but everybody's pretty worn out from the meeting, and then we sort of half-heartedly we give it our best shot, but it's difficult to maintain it. So what we're saying with this one is we're being very intentional, and we're all getting focused to say, listen, the Tuesday there, from that first week, there will be more for us to do, and we have we're putting systems in place so that we can do this on purpose, because we don't want to lose the great harvest that could come in.
Because to me, every part, we've talked about at church, it's like the body. Every part is important and everything is significant. But this stuff afterwards, it's almost like everything else has been building to this moment. And the meeting, as great as that is actually facilitating the follow-up. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? The meeting is almost like we have the meeting for this opportunity. Yeah. We don't just have the meeting, because the meeting will be a great time and people will be impacted, and that's great, but it's not just for that moment that we have it, it's for what follows and what's to come. So what we'll do now is, like I said, what we'll explain to you now is it's a system that God has put in our hearts. We've spent a lot of time praying and talking and putting ideas together. I'm sure it's not perfect, but it's better than the last one, which was better than the last one, and better than the last one.
It won't be as good as the next one, but it's the best one we've got at the moment.
Yeah, and we'll wholeheartedly give it our best crack and trust God.